Hey everyone, welcome to WeVideo. So when you come into WeVideo, you may see something like this. You may see something more like this. You probably see something like this, where you have sort of a toolbar here um, to help you figure out what you're going to create first. So if you have a storyboard already, what you may find is that you're going to create a recording first. When you do that, um, I'm already recording something, but you're gonna get a screen that says, do you want to record with your screen or your camera or both? Okay. Eventually, though, once you finish your recording, it'll bring you to a space like this. Okay. Except what you have on the bottom might look more complicated than this, and I just wanted to show you that you can go up here to this menu, like 3 lines, and you can switch between 2 different formats. One format is called the timeline format. Okay, this is a much more detailed editing space where you can do more things. This is a more advanced editor. And when you're just getting started, you may want to go back and switch to storyboard. This is going to resemble the storyboarding that you've already done. And all you really need to do is have a number of recording, like film segments or audio segments that you have recorded that you're going to then put together. Okay, so I've already recorded some clips here. So I'm going to put one in, put this one right here. I've already numbered these. When you record, you might notice that there's a date stamp and time stamp on the bottom. You can always right click to rename so that you can keep track of what it is you're doing. Right, I just numbered them in order so that I didn't lose track of which is which. So, and I also made this little like preview. Anyway, at this point, these rectangles literally represent your clips. Okay, the left edge of each rectangle is the beginning of the clip, and the right edge of the rectangle represents the right edge of the clip, or sorry, the end of the clip in terms of time. This up here is it's like your cursor, but for a video. They call it the playhead. And you can click anywhere in this gray space above your clips to move where the playhead is at. And then that will change what you're seeing up here. Okay. And this is sort of your preview window. And at any point, you can click on play and it will start the playing process like this. Okay, so what we have here, these are 4 different segments, 4 different clips that I filmed intending them to go together. Okay, and you're probably going to have a similar situation. And the thing is that now, like, if you watch this, you're going to notice that my face, I'm acting like I'm looking to the left, and I'm looking at this other person who shows up in the next clip. Except I have to look back at the camera in order to turn the recording off because I don't know where the button is. So what you can do is you can trim this clip and cut off the last section of the clip. Okay, so let's say I have this and I'm saying my line. I'm going to pause it right when I think that line should be done. Okay, and one option you have to trim this is, if this is where the playhead is, you can find this little like bracket icon. There's one on either side, and when you click on that and you drag it in toward the middle of your clip, you're actually you're trimming off that certain segment of that clip. So I'm going to drag here and I'm going to trim in. The playhead moved, so I'm going to have to sort of guess and check. But as I watch the preview window, I'm watching my head to see kind of when I'm probably done with the line. I think it's maybe like right here. Okay, this clip will automatically resize, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it actually didn't trim, because if you move the playhead and then play again, you'll see that that second part of the clip isn't there anymore. And so now then it jumped right to the second clip. So again, I want to trim this clip, move it in a little bit, maybe like right there. Same thing right here. I want to figure out where my head starts to turn, like right there. Something like that. Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, so this is like level 1 editing in WeVideo. You're taking different clips, you're putting them together, and you are trimming them from either side so that you have just the segment of film that you want to feed into the next segment of film. Okay. Another option you have is if you click over here, you can record a voiceover. So let's say you want to add a sound effect, or you want to add like the voice of reason or the voice of like someone who is suggesting to do something. You know, you can click on that. You can add some audio, like some background music. You can add a theme if you want. You can also go here to these text boxes, and if you want to add some text, you can play around with, you know, if it will help to have static text, you know, text that's not moving, or text that is moving. These are all different slides, basically. They're not really like static slides, but if you bring them, like let's say I wanted to have a text box but here between these two clips, I can put that right there. And then when you double click on, now maybe you can double click right here. Yeah. Oh, you just click on this text slide and you edit it, and then it'll bring up the properties of that space. So you can actually move the text if you don't like it in the middle, for example. You can make it smaller. Well, to make it smaller, you actually have to change the size. But you can do that, right? And so you have a lot of options, even in this viewing format. Okay, so let's say I don't want that right now. Okay, when you feel like you're starting to feel limited by what you're able to do with this, right? You only have so many abilities to really get detailed with the types of effects that you're using. You're pretty much limited, I think, to like having a slide like this, sort of. You drag it in and you put it in sequence with these different clips. Okay, there are a lot of options, but that's sort of the basic way that this storyboarding format works in WeVideo. As far as I've found, you might find some other things, though. It seems like the tool has a lot of different possibilities. Okay, but when you feel like you're ready to sort of like graduate to a more advanced form of video editing, you can go back to your menu right here, switch it back to timeline. And at this point, what you're going to see is that now these clips are still here, right? If you look closely, you can actually use this right here, this bar, to change the scale of your clips. And you'll notice that the intervals between your numbers right here will change, just because the clips are the same amount of time. But so then you can see that these clips still have a beginning and an end. You can still click and drag on the side the same way you would. And there's like a snap feature where if the program thinks it knows where you want the clip to be, it'll sort of snap into place. And you can start adding more effects here. right? You can have a little more control over what audio, like how you want your audio to work in the background. You can have the audio at a certain level. You can, let's say you want to have two videos and you actually want them to sort of fade into one another. So maybe you overlap the videos a little bit, and maybe we actually don't want to trim this video too much because we want to be able to, well, maybe we do a little bit. What we can do is, I think, yeah, so you can change the opacity. Opacity means like how see-through something is, right? And you can actually have it gradually getting more opaque, so more see-through. This may not look exactly the way we want. There we go. That's what I wanted. If we want it to like fade in, for example, then I maybe want it to fade in pretty quickly on this side, fade out. I want this to fade. I don't want that just to go down. Well, I don't know what happened to my opacity line. It's gone. I may just want to like try refreshing the page or something. But what should happen when you do this, when you play, is that if you look, I don't know if you noticed, but there was actually, the second clip actually faded in. So maybe if I want to edit this a little bit, have it fade in a little more gradually, I can move this over here. And so it wasn't as hard of a cut between one clip and the other. Okay, so you can't do this sort of, you can't have this level of detail in the storyboard editor. You have to use this timeline editor because this viewing space down here it acts more as a timeline. So you have that extra layer of level of detail. You also have the ability to add in transitions in this view, and there's a whole bunch of different transitions you can play around with. So yeah, have some fun. Those are the basics. If you have any questions, you can ask your teacher and we'll help you get figured out. All right. Hope that was helpful.